Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to J.P.BBQ. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Today we're firing up the Lone Star Grill Insulated Vertical Smoker. What we're going to do is some pulled pork. We'll show you how this pulled pork comes out doing the JP style. You guys, check it out. So let's go ahead and get this picnic shoulder trimmed up a little bit. There's not really much you got to do to picnic shoulders, but there's a lot of this... I don't want to call it unnecessary fat, but just fat that I really don't care for. So I usually just trim a little bit of this off, you know, because it's kind of, I'm not, you know, it really won't render down to anything. It gets elastic and stuff like that. And I know all we're making is just pulled pork, but this is just my personal preference. So I'm just going to trim it a little bit, get as much of this off as I can. And we're going to start prepping this picnic shoulder for the seasoning, nice and easy, and I think that's probably going to be good enough. I'm going to put a little bit of the extra virgin olive oil to serve as a binder and get it seasoned. And what we're going to be using today is our J.P.BBQ Sweet Heat. Very good rub for pork, very good rub also for ribs. It's got that nice sweetness from brown sugar, and it's got the nice heat that comes from them peppers. So here we go, and it'll give it a nice beautiful color. So just a little bit, there we go. And what I mean by a little bit on the edges to try to keep it off of the skin, and we'll try to wipe off as much as we can. You know, if it does get on there. There we go. You want to pat it in. Get some on this top side. One more side and our picnic shoulder should be done. And you can see this rub starting to get to work already. Starting to draw some of that moisture. And this is a nice picnic shoulder too. I forgot how many pounds it was. I think it's close, I don't know, about 13 pounds maybe. And there she is. About what she looks like. Let me get some down here. Yes, sir. Try to get as much of it on the meat. There we go. Now that looks really good. I mean, that looks really, really good. It's going to take on a nice color. So, and you know, don't be scared to put as much of it, as much rub as you want on it. It's a big chunk of meat, and it's going to form a nice little bark as well. So, all right, well, that's really about it. I'm going to get the skin cleaned up, put it back in the refrigerator, and we're going to get the smoker ready. Hey, let's go ahead and get the LSG set up, guys. Now, you may notice that I normally keep it, the instructions inside the Lone Star Grill instruction manual says you should keep the firebox. You should actually keep the whole thing on the inside oiled. So every time before using it and after using it, you know, take you some of that canola spray and just spray it down. And that's what I did last time. Last time, you know, it was last weekend that I used it. Cleaned it all up when I got done, and I just sprayed everything down with canola oil. And what that does is help minimize the rust buildup. So you can see that they're very nice and oily. And I'm just gonna set them over here, top of this rag. And the way I'm gonna set up my my firebox, I'm gonna set it up for about a 10-hour cook. And here's the nice thing about setting up this firebox. The entire firebox is good. They say it's good for 30 hours. So if you split the firebox into thirds, each row should be roughly good for about 10 hours. And I think that's what I got on the very first cook that I did. I got a little bit over 10 hours, probably closer to 11, which is, you know, more than enough time, you know, for any type of cook that you're going to be doing. And I'm going to set it up exactly the same way. set it up in a box. I want to take this charcoal that was left over and just move it over here. Set up these other ones. Something like that. And let me see if I get this. That way it don't be falling over. Something like that is the way I'm going to set it up. You know, and I'm going to fill up the middle. And I'll put this last one over on the back side. That way I can fill it up completely. So this one channel right here that I had filled up last time, it gave me at 275 degrees, you know, about 10 hours worth of cook time. You know, towards the end, you could see the dial starting to come down, but still, you know, 10 hours, that's pretty good. So, and I'm going to be using the same thing I used the very first time. Kingsford, the original. So this is the one I used the very first time that gave me that 10 hours of cook time. And I'm going to be using the same thing. So here we go. The other thing I'm going to be using for pork, I definitely like apple. So I went up to my store, got me a little bit of apple wood chunks. And this is how big they are. These are roughly, you know, a little bit over a fist size is how big they are. If you wanted to split these, you could just split them, you know, make them a little bit smaller. But I'm probably going to keep them like this, or maybe try to find some that are a good size. Now look at that one right there. Boy, that will burn for a while because that's all knotted up. So I'm going to take maybe 1, 2, 3. 3 pieces should be good. You know, staggered out like that. And for this pulled pork, for this picnic shoulder that I'm doing, it's probably going to take a good 6 to 7 hours running it at 275. I'm not crazy about how big these are. I'm going to cut these up a little bit. I got a little splitter over there, and get them staggered out. So here's what they come out like. You know, they're, you know, once I get them split, they're a little bit smaller and a little bit more manageable. You know, for this size. If I was running a bigger basket, I probably would have just left them the same. And all you got to do is just stagger them out, you know, throughout your basket. You know, if you want to bury it on the inside, you can. You know, just place them like that. And that may be something like that. There we go. We're gonna leave it like that. That's gonna be our smoke. We want the large amount of smoke towards the beginning, and that's why we got these bigger chunks. Plus this one right here, that was a pain in the butt to cut. So you know, because of that knot, yeah, you're not gonna cut through that unless you force it. But that's good enough for me. Set it up like that, and that should give us, you know, a good, you know, 10-hour smoke right there. And that's gonna be our basket. Squeeze these a little bit tighter. There we go. And that should do it right there, guys. That should be ready. We're ready for, you know, for this thing to get, you know, lit up. So I went ahead and took out a few coals out of the charcoal basket. We're gonna get this charcoal lit up. Go. A little bit windy this morning, but that charcoal should get lit up, and once it's all lit up, put it back inside the fire basket and get this LSG cranked up, guys. So here's how we control the temperature on this Lone Star Grillz insulated vertical smoker. You want to keep the top dampener or the top vent open up all the way. Bottom vent, you open it all the way as well at startup. Once you start getting close to your desired temperature, so in this case around 275, 50 degrees before you hit 275, close that ball valve about halfway. Okay, once you're 25 degrees from your desired temperature, close it another half. So you should only have maybe like a eighth of it opened up, just a little sliver, just enough air, and your temperature should climb to your desired temp. In this case, I'm going to be doing it at 275, and it should stay there nice and steady. Okay, I will be using my Thermal Pro to also monitor it remotely from inside. But let's go ahead and get this charcoal put in so we can get this thing going. There we go. So we'll get this closed up. Get our vents dialed in, and it'll be just a matter of time, guys. So here we go. Let's get this smoker opened up. I'm going to be running it right on this middle shelf, but I'm going to put this pan right underneath it. Right about there is good. Let me pop this one out a little further. We're going to spray it down with a little bit of canola spray. Let's get this picnic shoulder. Yeah, maybe I run it like this. Put this temp probe inside. And I'm gonna just put it right here. Try not to hit no bone. And what we're shooting for, I normally like, when I'm doing pulled pork, I normally like to run it around, 195 up into the 200s, for pulled pork. Pull this picnic shoulder out. It hit 192 degrees, and we're gonna cover it up, and we're gonna let it rest a few minutes before we break into it. So all we're gonna do is just cover it up with a little bit of aluminum, let it rest, and then tear into it and make us some delicious sandwiches. So let's go ahead and tear into it, guys. So it hit a temperature of 192 degrees, and the skin did take on a nice little color, but it's not as crispy as I would like. So I think what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to take off the skin and put it back inside the smoker. Let's see if I can make some crackling out of it. See what happens. So, but woo, yes sir. But would you look at that? Now that there, guys, is some nice pulled pork. And get this bone out of there. There's that bone. Man, and this is still super hot. There we go. Look at that. That's some gorgeous looking white meat right there. Let's give it a taste test. That is really good. Now, I don't know if you guys can see the smoke coming off of it, but I am going to try to get this bone out of here, because the bone, pulling the bone out, is a good indicator to let you know that it's done. Once they get separated, you know it's done. And there we go. Get that off of there. But this thing is like super hot. I should be letting it rest just a little while longer. But there's the bone. Bone comes out like that, guys. You got you a well done picnic shoulder. So there we go. Oh yeah, just look at them juices right there. We're gonna get this cut up. Oh yeah. A little bit different from, wrapping it in aluminum, that's for sure. With aluminum, it does tend to come out a little bit more stringy, you can say. But like this, it almost looks like just way it's done Puerto Rican style, just not wrapped in aluminum or anything. And you got you some nice little chunks of meat. Oh yeah. Get this cut up. Oh man, just look at them juices down here. There we go. Look at that. Gorgeous piece of meat. And I'm going to be using my J.P. peach sauce. And I'm just going to put a little bit on it right here on this pulled pork. There we go. And get it mixed in there. Just a little bit. You don't need a lot of it because you got a lot of flavor already, inside the pork. So mix it good with your gloves. So here we go. Put my bread right there. We just want to put us some right there, just like that. There we go. That looks good. That looks really, really good. Maybe a little bit more right here. I'm gonna top it off with a little bit of our coleslaw. Simple coleslaw. You can make this at home fairly easy. Get you some, some shredded cabbage that they sell at the store, and all you need is some mayonnaise, apple cider vinegar, teaspoon of coarse pepper, teaspoon of salt, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and about quarter teaspoon or quarter tablespoon, maybe a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar, depending on how wet you like your coleslaw. There we go. So if you like it really wet, put a little bit more. If you're more of the dry type coleslaw dryer, just put a little bit less. There we go. Close this up. And there we go. I sure did. I put it upside down. But look at that. Don't that just look absolutely gorgeous? I'm gonna take me a little bite. I'm dropping meat all over the place. Just goes to show I'm that hungry. I forget how to organize my buns. That is really good. And you top it off with some potato buns. Guys, you can't go wrong with this stuff. That sweet heat and the J.P. peach sauce complement each other really good, guys. Now, if you want your pork a little bit more stringy, at 165, wrap it in aluminum and put it back inside the smoker, and take it all the way up to 200, 203.
that will be very, very tender. Okay, that it'll just shred apart with your hands. Anyhow, guys, uh, if you get a chance, do me a favor, go out to my website. I'm gonna put a link for it right here, and it'll pop up right there as well. J.P.BBQ.com, where I sell my products, help supports this channel. If you're not a subscriber and you like what you saw, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button right there in the corner. Give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. But besides that, I appreciate you guys very much, and I will see you guys on the next cookout. You guys take care, and I love y'all.